While the open road offers unparalleled freedom for dog travelers, there are times when air travel becomes a necessity, whether for long distances, time constraints, or international moves. Flying with your canine companion, however, is a significantly more complex undertaking than a road trip. It involves navigating intricate airline regulations, preparing both yourself and your dog for a potentially stressful experience, and managing logistics at every stage of the journey. This chapter will provide a comprehensive guide to understanding the nuances of air travel with your dog, helping you make informed decisions and ensure the safest, most comfortable flight possible for your furry friend. Understanding airline regulations, the rules of the air. The golden rule of flying with Fido is always research the specific airline's pet policy meticulously and do so well in advance. These policies are not universal. They vary significantly between carriers and can change frequently. What one airline allows, another may strictly forbid. Carry-on versus cargo. Where will your dog fly? In cabin. This option is generally reserved for small dogs and cats who, along with their carrier, can fit comfortably under the seat in front of you. The carrier must meet strict dimensions set by the airline, allowing the pet to stand up, turn around, and lie down naturally. There are typically limits on the number of pets allowed in the cabin per flight, so early booking is crucial. This is usually the least stressful option for pets and owners, as your dog remains with you. Cargo, checked baggage or manifest cargo, larger dogs or those whose carriers exceed in-cabin dimensions must travel in the airline's cargo hold. This is a temperature-controlled, pressurized compartment, but it is separate from the passenger cabin. Dogs traveling in cargo are typically handled by ground staff during loading and unloading. This option comes with more risks and greater stress for the animal, making it a decision that should only be made if absolutely necessary. Some airlines may transport pets as manifest cargo through their dedicated cargo division, which can offer more consistent handling but is also a more complex process. Breed restrictions. Many airlines have outright bans or severe restrictions on certain dog breeds, especially brachycephalic, snub-nosed breeds like bulldogs, pugs, Boston Terriers, and boxers. These breeds often have compromised respiratory systems, making them more susceptible to breathing difficulties and heat stroke, particularly in the stress and varying atmospheric conditions of air travel. Check your airline's specific list of restricted breeds. Temperature embargoes. This is a critical safety measure. Airlines implement temperature embargoes, meaning they will not transport animals in cargo if the ground temperatures at the departure, connecting, or arrival airports are either too hot, typically above 85 degrees Fahrenheit or 29.5 degrees Celsius, or too cold, typically below 45 degrees Fahrenheit or 7 degrees Celsius. These embargoes are put in place for the animal's welfare, as extreme temperatures can be fatal. If your travel falls during peak summer or winter months, or in regions with extreme climates, be prepared for potential delays or cancellations due to these embargoes. Carrier requirements, IATA compliance. Regardless of whether your dog flies in cabin or cargo, their travel carrier must comply with the International Air Transport Association, IATA, live animals regulations. These regulations specify minimum dimensions, ventilation requirements, often on all four sides, sturdy construction materials, a leak-proof bottom, live animal labeling, and this way up arrows. Bowls for food and water must be attached to the inside of the carrier door, accessible from the outside for airline staff to replenish. Health certificate timelines. Most airlines require a health certificate issued by a licensed veterinarian. The certificate must typically be issued within a very narrow window, e.g. 10 days of your flight. For international travel, the requirements are even more stringent and may involve additional endorsements from government agencies, like the USDA in the U.S. Booking your flight, planning with your pet in mind. Booking a flight with a pet is not like booking a regular ticket. It requires extra steps and specific considerations. Call the airline directly. Do not rely solely on online booking. Once you have a potential flight in mind, call the airline's reservations department or their dedicated pet travel desk. You need to confirm that space is available for your pet on your desired flight. Airlines often limit the number of pets, both in cabin and cargo, per flight. Early booking is essential. Due to limited pet allowances per flight, book your tickets and your pet spot as far in advance as possible. Choose direct flights. Whenever possible, opt for direct, non-stop flights. Layovers increase the risk of mishandling, missed connections for your pet, and exposure to varying temperatures on the tarmac. If a layover is unavoidable, ensure it's long enough for your pet to be rechecked and comfortably loaded onto the next flight, but not so long that they are in their carrier unnecessarily. Consider flight times. For cargo travel, choose flights during cooler parts of the day in warm climates, early morning, late evening, and warmer parts of the day in cold climates, midday, to avoid temperature embargoes. Pre-flight preparations, weeks before takeoff. Preparation is key to reducing stress for both you and your dog. Start these steps well in advance. Health certificates and vet visits. Schedule a comprehensive vet visit specifically for air travel. Your vet will assess your dog's overall health and fitness for flying. Discuss any pre-existing conditions that might be exacerbated by air travel. Obtain the required health certificate within the airline's specified time frame, typically 10 days before travel. For international travel, this process is much more involved and can take months. Research the destination country's import laws meticulously and work closely with your vet and relevant government agencies, e.g., to ensure all paperwork, vaccinations, and tests, like rabies titers, are completed on time. Medications and sedation. Discuss with your vet whether any mild anti-anxiety medication is appropriate for your dog, especially for in-cabin travel. However, most veterinarians and airlines strongly advise against sedating pets traveling in cargo. Sedatives can interfere with a dog's ability to regulate body temperature and can cause respiratory or cardiovascular problems at altitude. Crate acclimation. If your dog will be traveling in a crate in cabin or cargo, it is paramount that they are fully acclimated to it and view it as a safe, positive den. Start weeks or months before the flight. Leave the crate open in a common area with a comfortable bed and toys inside. Encourage your dog to go in voluntarily with treats and praise. Feed meals inside the crate. Gradually increase the time your dog spends in the crate, with the door closed, eventually leaving them alone for short periods. Ensure the crate is the correct size, allowing them to stand, turn, and lie down comfortably. At the airport, navigating the terminal. The airport environment can be overwhelming. Arrive with ample time to spare, but avoid excessively long waits. Check-in procedures. In-cabin pets. You'll typically check in at the passenger counter. Your pet's carrier will be inspected and you'll pay the pet fee. Cargo pets. You will need to check in at the airline's cargo facility, which may be separate from the main passenger terminal, or at a dedicated baggage pet counter. This often requires arriving several hours before your flight. Check airline specifics. You'll typically complete a shipper's declaration stating your pet has been fed and watered within a certain time frame. Security checkpoints. In-cabin pets. You will need to remove your pet from their carrier and carry them through the metal detector. The empty carrier will go through the X-ray machine. Practice holding your dog securely in a busy environment. Your dog in its crate will go through security checks at the cargo facility, typically not involving you removing them. Potty areas. Most major airports now have designated pet relief areas, often both pre- and post-security. Use these just before check-in and again after clearing security, if in cabin, to give your dog a final opportunity to relieve themselves. Carry plenty of poop bags. Minimize stress. Keep your dog in their carrier as much as possible to provide a sense of security. Speak to them calmly and reassuringly. Limit interaction with strangers, as this can add to stress. During the flight, managing the experience. Once the plane is in the air, your ability to directly comfort your pet diminishes, especially for cargo travelers. In-cabin rules. Your dog's carrier must remain stowed under the seat in front of you for the entire flight. You generally cannot remove your dog from the carrier. Do not offer food during the flight, as this can increase the risk of digestive upset. Small sips of water from a spill-proof bottle may be allowed if your dog is distressed, but consult flight attendants. Manage any signs of anxiety or discomfort calmly and quietly. A familiar toy or blanket inside the carrier can help. Cargo considerations. For pets in cargo, their journey is largely out of your control. You can only trust in your thorough preparation. Avoid checking on them excessively at connecting airports, if possible, as this can add to their stress. Focus on ensuring you have all their documentation and care instructions clearly labeled on the crate. Upon arrival, reunion and de-stressing. The moment of reunion is a huge relief, but your dog will need time and care to decompress. Reunion. In-cabin pets, simply retrieve your carrier from under the seat. Your dog will likely be eager for a stretch and a potty break. Cargo pets. Pick up your dog at the designated baggage claim area for pets or at the airline's cargo office, depending on how they were shipped. Inspect the crate for any damage and observe your dog closely for any signs of injury or distress. De-stressing your dog. Immediate potty break. This is usually the first priority. Find the nearest designated pet relief area at the airport. Hydration and small meal. Offer water immediately. If your dog seems settled, a small familiar meal might be appropriate after an hour or so. Quiet space. Head to a quiet area away from the airport hustle. Let your dog stretch, sniff around, and calm down. Avoid immediately rushing into crowded situations. Familiarity. Once at your accommodation, set up their familiar bed and offer favorite toys. Help them settle into their new surroundings. Observe for days. Continue to monitor your dog closely for a few days after arrival. Changes in appetite, energy levels, or behavior can indicate lingering stress or health issues. If concerns arise, consult a local veterinarian. Customs, if international. For international arrivals, you will need to present all required health certificates, vaccination records, and import permits to customs officials. Be prepared for potential inspections by veterinary authorities. This process can be lengthy, so factor in extra time upon arrival. Flying with Fido demands meticulous attention to detail and a proactive approach to your dog's well-being. While it can be stressful, thorough preparation and knowledge of the regulations can significantly improve the experience for both you and your cherished travel companion.